Hi, I am Eric Brow. Welcome to Awaken, which is where we will be diving into a deeper state of consciousness. I will be discussing about the energy report for the month of May 2020. Last month we discussed about stillness, integration, and clarity. The themes this month are clarity, depthness, and intuition. Yes, we are still working through the process of clarity because this is the year of 2020 vision. We will be working with depthness as we progress through the coming weeks. We will be digging deeper in the process. In doing so, we will be developing more of our intuition. This process of intuitive development will allow us to use more of our discernment. We will be looking deeply at what is taking place within us. We will see through this deep process that we will be undergoing. We will notice that there is a replenishment taking place. This replenishment is a necessary process of integration as we access more of our intuitive abilities. And it is very important to use discernment in the process. You will see and read things outside of you. The only way you can see what is authentic is when you look inside of yourself and use discernment from there. Discernment comes from within, and with that allows you to see what is true and not true to you. What can be true for you might not be true for somebody else. Each of us is unique in our journey. We all have truths that are valid within us. And know that through discernment, we will be entering a space of peace, light, and love. With that process of replenishment, we will be working on some depthness, where we will experience a process of initiation as we cross the threshold. And that threshold will allow us to perceive things in a more heightened perspective. Trust that heightened perspective. You will know through discernment that with that perspective, you are where you need to be at this present time. That inner work is highly encouraged through the coming month as you experience more depthness in connection with your higher self. Higher self only can be integrated when you put your ego aside. Because the ego is a distraction for you. And it's a distraction from you tuning in to what is actually taking place inside and around you. And that tuning in will allow you to see things in a more intuitive perspective. So set the ego aside temporarily, put it there and place it there. Because it's a distraction from what is actually taking place inside of you. Yes, the ego serves its purpose, but when you're doing the inner work and experiencing more depthness, the ego needs to be placed over here. And that is very important, especially when you're doing a lot of integration and bringing in more of your higher self so that you can perceive yourself in a deeper light. And that will allow you to progress more forward with more clarity. Yes, clarity. So it is very important to place the ego, the personality, aside so that you can continue to work on what is going on here and here. So that you can be more mindful and recognize what is actually taking place emotionally. And what is taking place here, what thoughts are coming out. And when you recognize those things, that's when you can actually work through what is taking place inside here. There's going to be a lot of emotions that's going to come up. Just trust those emotions. Acknowledge them. Because that's part of the process. When they come up, that is very important to work with. Okay? Emotions are very important to work with. Plus, with that being said, you are being guided and directed to dig more deeply in your process. The emotions are there to show you the way. The negative emotions, the resistance, are all there to show you the way. By recognizing what's going on there and embracing that process and also investigating what is going on there to see where you're feeling the emotions that's causing resistance. Let's say you're feeling it right here and like, oh, I'm feeling this right there. And it feels a little heavy. Right? It feels a little heavy. And remember, it's okay to feel those emotions. And it's okay to experience them because they're gifts to us to show us the way. Redirect us back to more of towards our authentic self. Right? Authentic self. Working through that process, working towards the authenticity, which is actually from within, not outside of you. Because when you're doing it outside, that's without. You are distracted. So within, accessing inside of yourself, tapping into that energy, integrating, working with more of your authentic truth. And using that discernment, to see what resonates with you inside of you. That's very important. The outside are pure distractions. I've said this before. They are distractions. So it's very important to work through here. Recognize what's going on inside of you. As you dig deep, the emotions are going to come up. And you're going to feel them. They are all valid. Know that they are valid. Recognizing them. Working through them. Rather than pushing them away. Or hiding them deeply inside of you and keeping them anchored there. Work through them. Process them. As you investigate and move forward. Okay? It's important to nurture yourself. Nurture your being. We create that deep replenishment, retreat, rest, and heal. Right? Yes. Retreat, rest, and heal. And finding the spot for you to do this. Safe space, I call it. It can be in your bedroom, laying on the bed, as you work through those emotions. Okay? Creating that depthness in the process as you work through the emotion. That depthness It's going to allow you to step forward on your quest towards your authentic self, which is inside of you, actually. You're not moving towards it, you're moving inwards. Because it's always inside of us. The love, the light, the authenticity, the sincerity, the innocence. All of it is inside of us. Know that. We are going through that deep replenishment, working through what needs to be worked through. The emotions, the resistance. The resistance is like the hose, right? We take a hose and there's water flowing through it. What happens to the water? It blocks it. So it's important to step back and say, okay, I'm feeling this block, and it's okay to feel this block and this resistance, but I know it's showing me the way to authenticity. So I say, okay, I'm working through it. Where do I feel this? I notice it. I notice that it's feeling a little off. Okay, I notice it's in my heart. It's a little heaviness there. Okay, it's okay to feel this way. It's valid to feel this way. I'm willing to nurture it, investigate, nurture, continue on. It flows. So you work through that energy of investigation and then witness what is going on inside of you. And that is a very important process. That witness. Facing your shadow self. Right? Facing all the shadows. Like fear, anger, anxiety, frustration, worry, doubt, uncertainty, resistance, sadness, sorrow, aspects, shadows. They are beautiful because they are showing you the way. Saying, hey, you're not in alignment with yourself. You're not in alignment. And know that. So work through that so that you can create more flow and alignment. Redirecting you inwards. Facing those shadow selves. Inner messages that are showing you the way from resistance to flow. As we work through what's inside here, which is the most important thing. We need to nurture ourselves. We are highly encouraged to continue on with that process. And know that. And it's important as sensitives, being more sensitive and vulnerable are gifts because they are leading us towards compassion. When we're vulnerable and feeling those emotions, we develop empathy. Because when we see others experiencing emotions, and we realize that we're all experiencing this process of depthness, clarity, right? And developing more intuition. Everyone is, to a degree. Some less, some more. Doesn't matter. All paths lead to the same place. It's not a competition. You only take in what you are ready for as you integrate. You only release what you are ready for. Some of you have trauma, and that takes time to work through that. So give yourself time to work through that. It could take months, years. It's okay. We only do things what we are ready for. And it's very important to be in that space of being, and putting our ego aside temporarily. We have a tendency to allow ego to be the master. You say, oh, ego's in control here. But we fail to realize That's a distraction. And that's what blocks our intuitive abilities. So that's important. Just put the ego aside. Say, okay, I am the master. What's within me, my essence, my higher self, is the master, not the ego. Yes, you are useful, ego. I love you unconditionally. You are useful in certain activities. So ego creates diversity in our world. That plays a role of personality. Each of us is unique. But we need to realize ego is not the master. Your essence, your spirit, your higher self, whatever you may call it, is the master. And that's what the process of awakening that is taking place this coming year as we develop more clarity, as we integrate more of our higher self here. So as we experience more deep replenishment in the process. So it's important to stay grounded in this process. That grounded energy will allow us to connect with our nature. Go for a walk. Sit on a rock for a while to help ground you. Or it's starting to get warmer, especially in the northern climate, northern hemisphere. We're getting warmer in the coming weeks. Temperatures. Now you can have time to put your feet on the earth, bare feet, anchoring it on the earth, the grass. Just walking will help ground you. Gardening will help ground you. Meditation, yoga, many things can ground you. Drink lots of water. That's very important as you experience activations, awakenings, dormant aspects of you, inside of you, integrating more of that higher self in, the more of yourself will awaken to your authenticity. The year of clarity will allow that aspect of you to come forward more fully as you awaken. And it's important to continue on this side. It's important to step away from the media. It's important to step away from the conspiracy theories. It's important to step away from everything outside of us. Putting that ego aside, stepping away, working on this, and not paying attention to the distractions here is important. That's when more authenticity will come forward. Okay? More fully expressive energy. Expressing yourself more fully as we integrate. As we continue to ground ourselves through various means. In some other ways, it's qigong, breathing, heavy, big breaths, and many other activities. Swimming can be grounding. Kayaking, hiking. Many outside recreational activities are beneficial, especially as we progress through May and summer months. Okay? So remember that. So we have a lot going on within us. If we don't pay attention, we are going to get a message to say, hey, wake up. You'll feel like, oh, I'm angry. Oh! Remember that. When you're angry, it's a message saying, hey, wake up, mister or miss. You're not paying attention. So it's important to pay attention to this. Because if you don't pay attention, your emotion's going to talk to you. So it's very important to step back and work on this. Because there's a lot happening. So it's important to spend time with yourself. daily so that you can connect with more of your spirit, your higher self that's speaking to you, saying, hey, you are ready to embark on a journey to authenticity. You are ready to be in this present moment. Okay? You are ready to see who you truly are and what you represent. You are ready to step away from the distractions of the outside world and pay attention more of this so that you can see the beauty that is actually all around you. And you can see the miracles that are taking place, the synchronicities, the signs that are being presented to you by spirit. So remember that, okay? There's a lot happening, and know that everything is the way it should be at this time. So it's time, dear ones, it's time. Much, much greatness is happening. Know that. Know that. Trust and know that all is well. Be well. Namaste.